Welcome, welcome back, everybody. And we are back with an update to my practical female armors in Skyrim mod compilation. I've tinkered with it quite a bit, consoled a character over here into Sylvingard, and I will actually include a link in the description when this goes up to my YouTube, obviously, to a CSV file, a Excel file, basically, that is I use in Mod Organizer, so you should be able to import it into your own Mod Organizer, use the same mods. Of course, I'll provide links to all the different mods and all that fun stuff. Anyway, so I know last time people were commenting about my mic. Fair point. That's a fair point. For some reason, it was using my webcam mic and not my actual headphone mic, which I'm using now. And my test of Raptor seemed to work pretty well. So we're going to give this another try, and I've actually tinkered with the mod order and the items quite a bit. So why don't we go through the list first. We'll go with the armors that are based on ancient Nord armor. So here we can go. We see the practical female ancient Nord armor here. Quite practical, if you ask me. And yes, Alia and anyone else who is wearing the toggle god mode. You can even see on any other NPCs, any female NPCs we run across here, you will see we'll be wearing the modded armor. I've tried to get this to be as compatible and covering as many armors as possible. I tinkered with the load order quite a bit.
Seek ye food or song unending, fighting, drinking, fellowship and boasting.
The endless wait gives way to battle. Alduin's doom.
There we go. That's a pretty good example of the steel armor, isn't it? I was hoping I could run into someone here who's wearing the ancient Nord armor, but it doesn't look like anybody is. So, okay. Should I be getting involved in this? Okay. We'll ignore that for the moment. Oh, never a dull moment, even when I'm doing things like this. Okay, so we'll switch over to the regular ancient Nord armor. You'll notice it's exactly the same. We've got the ancient Shrouded armor. Relatively modest. I mean, what can you expect from something that's basically skin-tight leather? Or pleather. One of the two. The banded iron armor. You've seen a few people in here with it. You can see very modest. Then we've got the Blackguard armor. This is from Dragonborn. Since it's based upon the Thief's Guild armor, it also becomes modified. You know what word I'm trying to say. Got the Blades armor.
Shore's high seat stands.
There's the Bone Mold armor.
Yin is too bright for mortal eyes. Why does Shore forbid us to face?
There's the Chitin Armor.
I fear no world. World eater don't.
So this one's still a little bit more semi-sexualized, I guess you could say. This one isn't. This is pretty modest. Cultist armor. More or less.
By Shore's command.
Then we have the Good old Daedric armor.
Curb our wrath, so we feast and sing till the final.
I never even noticed that. The improved closed face helmets, when it comes to the Daedric armor, if you look up through it, you can see the ceiling. There isn't actually an opening there. What can you do? No mod can be always perfect. Then we got Deathbrand, which is, well, the version of Deathbrand I'm using is a reskin of the original.
Way of the voice.
But as you can see, it's also inheriting the other traits of the other one, which means that it's inheriting...
Tall ships and
Will all of you guys shut up? Seriously!
Listen well, friend, and lighten your mood while words like spin of warriors seek ye food or song unending, fighting, fellowship and bloodstained, find welcome here.
So this is the Deathbrand. And you can see it's inheriting the... Since the retexture basically darkened everything, but it's inheriting the modified version of the Skyrim armor, which we'll get to in a bit. Don't worry about that. I'm going to show you every piece of armor. Here's the dragon plate. Quite modest. Quite practical. Well, as practical as you can expect from this type of armor. Dragon scale. Again, no big old molded boob plates. Quite practical. Quite reasonable. Dwarven. That just looks weird, doesn't it? That molded face. It's a little weird. Anyway, see, the Dwarven armor is pretty modest. Ebony Armor, again, pretty modest, though I think from a practical standpoint, that little top point would stab anyone in the neck. If I were designing this armor, I would definitely have cut out that little top chunk. But it's modest. It is modest. Here's the infamous Ebony Mail. So it also manages to get the treatment. Elven Armor. Where is it? There it is. And yes, I am using Emidian-Born's retextures. So I've even got the differently Ebony and Thalmarai stuff working in this. So there's the Elven. That's the Elven Gilded. Elven Light. Still looking pretty modest. This one is hardly modest, but I want to show it for comparison. Classic Fulmer Armor. And then we move over to the Fulmer Hardened Armor. Forsworn is, of course, Forsworn Armor. So, I won't dwell too long on the Forsworn and the Fur Armor. Those are kind of unavoidable, especially since they're light armors, so you can't really expect too much out of them. General Tullius's armor, though. Moderately modest. I feel like it still should be flatter since it's actually General Tullius's armor. So it shouldn't just magically get boob sectors in it, but not terribly bad. The Glass Armor. With transparency. I absolutely love this mod. Its effects. And you can actually wear it with a circlet. Well, actually, it's kind of weird like this. You have to, you have to basically choose whether you want to wear it with a circlet or if you want to wear it with Dragon Priest mask, because those two variants of the mod are not compatible. So I can do something like the wooden mask. Necrosis, for example. I think I can get Necrosis. Well, it's just you're going to have to deal with losing something. I couldn't get everything to work together, but I did manage to get some of the masks or all circlets to work with these helmets. And maybe I'll do like a mini video showcasing the differences between those, but we're focusing primarily on the practicality of the female armors here. So let's not dwell. So here's Gold Ebony from Amidian-born. The helmet does not get the closed face helmet's effect on it, nor does it get the practicality on it. Guildmaster's armor, pretty practical, as mentioned before with the Blackguard armor. Let's see. Let's move on. Find something else. Find something else. Good grief. Somewhat modest, I guess. Guard armor. Then we got the Imperial Heavy Set. As you can see, pretty damn modest when you get right down to it. We'll go to the Imperial Light, assuming I can click on it. Pretty modest. Pretty modest. We got the improved bone mold armor. Again, the modesty is continuing through. And again, when we are done with this showcase, there will be a link in the description of this version in YouTube. Iron armor. Let's see. Leather armor. Again, pretty modest, pretty nice. Any of these variant armors, of course, will inherit their parent properties. More tongue. And this one obviously didn't inherit much, did it? But we've got a pretty good track record when you get right down to it. Nightingale, pretty nice. Nordic carved. Coming through pretty modestly. Orcish. No big old boob plates or plunging neckline here. Pentis ocularis, Laris. Not too terribly shabby. The Shrouded armor. Another variation. Not terribly bad. Now this one actually comes through pretty nicely. Then, of course, we get to the stall room with its refracting qualities. And the light version. As you can see, the problem in our previous video when I showed Skyrim and it went all skimpy, I actually was able to find a way to overwrite it. So you'll have to do that manually on your own. It's not that hard. Once you've set up the armor using the refracting Skyrim armor mod, just go into it in Mod Organizer. I would show you here, but since I am recording this directly through Raptor, I can't actually leave the game. But just go into it, go click on it in your menu, go View and Explore, and then go and find the NIF files in the find the male NIF files. They'll have all the refraction, and just copy them into the female version. Or in the case of what I did is I made another mod. I made a new folder, dropped it in there under the F, female folder, and basically use it as an overwrite. So yes, technically that's the male armor, but I think it works just fine. Then we've got the steel armor. Yeah, we'll go with the Pauldrons one. So Lydia's armor. Steel glass from... Now as you can see, the steel, since there is a Thalmor variation of the transparent glass, what you can see here is that, and because the transparent glass is inheriting
Fighting, drinking, fellowship and boasting. Find welcome.
Take your ease. Let troubles fade.
Don't make me toggle clipping out of here. It's a nice place for showcasing, but all you chatty people! So as you can see, it inherited through the practical armors a different mesh, and then the other mesh, since it applies transparency to both male and female, well, the results speak for themselves. And here's the steel glass variant. And the Thalmorized glass does the same thing. Steel plate armor. Stormcloak officer set. Looks like this one did not pass through unscathed. Still not terribly bad. This one's pretty modest. Here's a Thalmor glass version.
Hail, comrade.
And the Thieves Guild set.
We by clash of steel ease the gloom of the encompassing mist.
Of course, Sun's armor. I went to the QA smoke room and just grabbed every armor they had. So, I've got armors that technically you can't get in the game. The wolf armor. So as you can see, it all comes together pretty well. It does take a good number of mods. Looking at my mod list in my alternate window, I'm seeing... Well, actually, most of them don't even use an ESP file, which means that they don't actually affect. They don't actually bloat your save game. The only ones that add an ESP filer is Emydian Borns, of course, because it has glass variants lored differently ebony. The Death Brand retexture has its own ESP. The Hardened Falmer from CNHF has its own ESP, but the rest of the CNHF mods, CNHF armors do not. And then Improved Closed Face Helmets has a ESP, but the rest do not. So, mod organizer and oh, for the love of Peter Jackson!
Let us not spurn our Lord's power. Hey, watch it!
You watch it.
The endless weight gives way to battle.
There. Am I far enough away from people that they're not going to start bothering me during my you know what word I'm looking for! Anyway, onward! So I'm using pretty much all of CNHF's, that's Calypso's and Nusco's heroic form body replacers armor conversions. So I've got a bunch of those: Hardened Falmer, Stormcloak, Steel, Royal Vampire, Nordic Carved, Light Chitin, Iron and Banded, Farm Clothes, Ancient Nord. Some of these obviously I didn't showcase because I didn't think at the time to console them in, and I think it'd take too long to console them in. Now we're already at 21 minutes. But they are very nice. They also, the same thing also has Prisoner Clothes, Heavy Solrum, Heavy Imperial, Glass, Dragon Scale, Dawnguard Armors, Cultists, what the hell? COC, QA, Smoke. Because I should show you the Dawnguard armors as well, since it is mentioned in here, Dawnguard, and the Heavy Vampire, and the Vampire, what is it, Royal Vampire Armor. So we're looking for the Dawnguard chest. There should be a Dawnguard chest in here. Dragonborn, 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 Dragonborn. Dragonborn keys. Ingredient scrolls, potions. Skill books, spell tomes, all books. All enchanted armor, all clothing and jewelry. All soul gems, all enchanted, all ammo. Potions, all scrolls, all ingredients. Where the heck did they throw all the Dawnguard stuff? Dragonborn, Dragonborn, Dragonborn. Dragonborn, Dragonborn. Dragonborn. Dragonborn, Dragonborn. Dragonborn. That's for summoning enemies. Those are buttons. Okay. Don't press random buttons in the QA smoke room. Lesson learned. Yep, it's not actually in the Dawnguard set, is it? Miscellaneous items. The Void. The Empty Void. Is this where they hid all of the Dawnguard stuff? All Dawnguard weapons and armor. Yes. I was not even aware of that. Alright. Dawnguard boots, full helmet, gauntlets. Oh. That's the buggy version of the Dawnguard armor, isn't it? Yes, because it's supposed to be Dawnguard Heavy Armor. But there we go. Pretty modest. We'll go switch over to the Dawnguard Light set. Again, pretty modest. COC SOV and GARDE01. Get you some better lighting. Keep looking on the buggy one, don't I? Let's see, what else did I mention? There's the Royal Vampire. Vampire Royal Armor. So again, pretty modest. No big old boob window on that. Let's see, farm clothes. I don't have farm clothes selected, do I? Well, I think you get the general idea. Master robes, that's one. That's one of the CNH5. Master robes.
Seek ye food or song unending? Fighting, drinking, fellowship and boasting. Find welcome, fearless heroes.
I said, it takes a bit of work, takes a bit of tinkering, it takes a bit of rearranging your load order, but the results speak for themselves. No longer will your female companions or female hero be running around half naked because, or with bold or molded boobs in their heavy armor. Because that makes so much sense, doesn't it?
My disciples still follow the difficult path, the way of the voice.
But there really isn't much more to say, now is there? So I hope you enjoyed this little mod showcase. I know it's ran a bit long at close to 30 minutes. But what can you do? What can you do? See you all next time, folks.